Hey everyone, this is Chris, MTGO's Rec Start, and we're back with this week's episode of Show and Tell, the ongoing audio-video deck tech and replay series covering the decks of the Legacy Tribal Wars format as they are played every week in the Tribal Apocalypse Player Run event on Magic the Gathering Online. And this week we saw a ton of Goblin decks, and while I will probably be making a little bit of fun of the how many there were, I do want to say that the top two decks, it was a Goblin mirror match in the final, but both decks were very clever and not what you normally see from the vanilla aggro Goblin decks. And Kumagoro was probably talked about Slug 360's winning deck. Slug got his third consecutive victory in the event, which is, as far as I know, completely unprecedented, so grats to him. But I wanted to highlight Frenzy 277 here with this Goblin Storm list, which I thought was very interesting looking. It has card draw, tutoring, redundancy, multiple paths to victory, really all the things that you want to see in a successful combo deck, and it really exemplifies the rare archetype of the aggro combo deck as well, because it has an aggro plan with the potential to sort of combo off. And so let's take a look at what he's got going on here. He has a set of Skirk Prospectors and Goblin Sledders as sacrifice outlets. Now, the Prospector is what he really wants to land, because that's going to give him a sack outlet that makes mana. Now, the idea of the deck is he gets one of these guys down. All of these guys provide multiple activations, essentially. He turns a Mogg War Marshal into sort of a pyretic ritual, basically, if you have a Skirk Prospector out. And the idea is, if you can land a Fecundity, you can start sacking your own guys to these, hopefully to the Prospector, and generating mana in the process. You're digging yourself into more cards, which gives you more guys to play, more guys to sack to the Prospector, digs you to your rituals, and eventually you draw into one of your win conditions. Now he can empty the Warrens, and he can either do the old empty the Warrens Goblin Bushwhacker plan and try to win on the spot. Alternatively, he can continue to sack the tokens from empty the Warrens and generate more mana and try to go off another way if he needs to. He can dig for the one copy of Grape Shot and try to get to a storm kill that way. He also has the option of using one of his Goblin Matrons or just naturally drawing into the Goblin Sharpshooter. And assuming on his combo turn he can get a War Chief down, or already has one down, he can plop down the Sharpshooter. And then, for instance, a big Empty the Warrens becomes effectively a double Grape Shot, because you can then use the Sharpshooter to tap, do 1 damage to the opposing player, sacrifice a creature to untap it, and of course he can do all this at instant speed, so it really resists any kind of, well, at least once he plays the Sharpshooter and it resolves, he can do all this with instant speed. So again, he's got a lot of redundancy here, a lot of draw, a lot of velocity. I played against this deck, and once he starts going off, it just feels pretty much unstoppable. The best solution to this deck would probably be to just try to kill it first before it went off, if that was possible. Alternatively, if you can counter the Fecundity, you can really keep him from getting to that critical mass of cards that he needs to go off, and keep him from having the big turn. So this is pretty much a must counter. The Skirk Prospector, if he drops it out early, you can try to kill it, and that might take away his ability to go off later. Those are the things you really want to try to disrupt his deck by doing. But other than that, it was an excellent looking deck. It just steamrolled me, and so I wanted to highlight it here, again, just because you don't see the example of the aggro combo deck all that often. So in part 2, we're going to take a look at some replays that Frenzy sent in, so join me in part 2.